Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my garden on this typical April day. If you're gardening in a similar climate zone or area to what I do, you exactly know what I'm talking about. We had all fall seasons squeezed in one day today. In the morning, I was quickly in Gdansk in Old Town because I needed to arrange some things, went to the hairdressers, did some grocery shopping. When I arrived there, it was drizzle, it was raining, and I was like, okay, grey skies. Suddenly, hail started, then the cloud cover opened up, and it was bright sunshine, beautiful. By the time I left the hairdressers, it started to snow. I was like, you must be kidding me. And now we're back to wind. But I'm going to do something in the back of a garden with you again, because down there, down by the slope, the wind doesn't hit that hard. Oh my God, the crazy in the wind, by the way. Because what I did is straight in the morning I drove to the garden center because I saw something there the other day and I kept on thinking about it. And this is one of those moments when when you keep on thinking about something, maybe you really want to have it. So I treated myself with a little early Easter gift that I'm really excited to show you in a second. So what I'm going to do now is quickly, I'm still lingering around here, the area of the garden shed, because I need to collect all the tools that I need for today's project. And then we go to the back of the garden down at the last layer of the slope. If you follow my channel already for quite a while, you know that at the back of the garden there are these three big trees here, and they are actually growing in no man's land. They're literally in between the property and the farmland, so they don't belong to anybody. This is an area where whatever sells seeds there just grows, and you can tell that the two trees on the right that have these round spheres in the top branches of the tree, and those are missels. And you might think, oh, so cute, missels, and good for Christmas decorating. And in a way it is, but in another way, missels really suck out the life out of those trees, so they are slowly dying because of those missels. And this is what happens. Last night we had a very strong wind again, and some branches just cracked and came down. So the missels, they are so heavy that a lot of the branches just can't hold the weight anymore. And over there are more of them, so two more, well, smaller branches luckily, but still, came down, fell down here on this side of the slope. So I'm not going to work on this area obviously today because there's still wind and I feel it might be a little too dangerous. This is why I think it's a good idea to take you with me to the other side of the slope, because there's no danger of any branch to hit us. Guess what? It's a new day. So what happened the other day is I prepared everything. I walked down to the slope with you, and then I figured that there is hell a lot of a wind and it was really cold. I stood there for like maybe 30 seconds and I thought, no, this is not gonna happen today. And then I packed everything and quickly ran back inside and decided to basically go back to dormancy. So that was yesterday. Today's supposed to be nicer though. The sun is out a little bit. There is no rain eventually in the forecast. This is a little iffy still, but I'm out with you in the morning, which rarely happens. This is a surprise in its own because I'm normally not one of these like good morning people. There are those people that get out of bed and have a bright smile on their face. I get out of bed and I need to find my human side first, but I think I found it. I'm ready. I think I prepared everything. Let's see. I'm not so organized in the morning. I'm not organized in general, but in the morning even less so. But what I'm going to do now, finally take you with me down to the slope and let's do some planting. Here we go, down by the slope. This is the side where I intend on growing all my vegetables this year, and you can tell that this is the layer where I want to grow all my pumpkin vines. Finally came in with mulch. Everything is mulched, everything is prepared. I'm really happy about that. Very soon I'll be planting my first seeds in here, and then I have 200 billion pots of bearded iris still sitting here. I still have no idea where to put them. I don't know, I need to make up my mind. In the back there, this is where I want to plant. Maybe you see something, I'm not so sure, because there are a lot of kind of like dead branches right now. Everything is ready to thrive and go back into life, but there is a little plastic bag because I just wrapped the plastic bag around the container because I transport it in the car, and this is what I want to plant today. I treated myself with a nice peach tree, and when you think of Poland, like northern Poland, you might not necessarily think of peach, but this is a variety where I should get along with. This is a variety called Saturn. So it's one of these like flat peaches that don't grow to such a massive, huge size. So I should really be successful with those. Let's just quickly turn the label and look at the key facts. So it can thrive up to 3 to or 5 meters, which I'm not going to allow it. It wants full sun, which is definitely going to get here because we're down by the slope. This is southwest facing. It flowers in April. Well, yeah. Pretty much. I mean, we are in April and I think it's about to start flowering very soon. Not sure if you see anything, any buds, the pink things. And then you can harvest in August, which is perfect. What a lucky coincidence that the best toy is just attached to her. Alfie's just playing with her own tail and I'm so distracted because that is the cutest sight there is, but I think she calmed down a little bit now. She was just needed to release all the energy that she has inside of her. But let's focus on the peach tree. So as I said, when I think peach tree, I do not necessarily think the north of Poland, so the south coast of the Baltic Sea. I kind of associate peaches with like warm, nice, mild countries like France, Italy. They're sun-filled and they have like really nice, warm summers. But according to my research, this variety should thrive fairly well here because the variety Saturn grows in a climate zone from 5 to 9 or 10. I'm in a zone 7B, so if this is bound to thrive in a zone 5, it should really be happy here. And on top of it, I think I have just the right and perfect area of the garden. It really wants to be somewhere where it's sun-filled so it can bask in the sun, and this is exactly what happens here. We're at the base of the slope. This is west, in my back there is south, and it is protected pretty well in here. So from two sides there is a deadwood hedge, and on this side here there is a terrace which is covered with a black landscape fabric. So this is west facing, which means by the afternoon this black landscape fabric is going to reflect the heat, and which is also good in winter. So I think this will be just perfect. Whatever kind of hardwood you are planting, you need to do just a little bit of investigation, and this concerns the roots that any kind of tree or shrub builds. There are those shrubs that have shallow roots, so they grow outwards. So if you prepare the soil, you need to make sure that you prepare the soil in a nice circle around it. But there are also those kind of trees or shrubs that have a leader, which is one big taproot which penetrates right through into the ground and it anchors the tree. And this is exactly what happens on peach trees. So in order how I need to prepare the soil right is I get in there with my shovel. First I remove the mulch, because everything here is mulched in already quite thoroughly. And then I'm just going to dig a big hole. And since we are at the base of the slope and to this side there's no man's land, so nobody really takes care of that, I could just like quickly shovel the sandy soil onto that side. Shh, don't tell anybody. And then I come in with nice fresh garden soil. So I bought a couple of bags of really lovely good quality garden soil. I'm going to put 2 bags in here, and then I come in with starting fertilizer, mix it all and really loften up the entire soil quite deep in general, so that that leader or that the taproot has ability to root in very fast and anchor the tree very fast. This is how I prepare the entire area. I think this is everything really I can tell you. Oh, one more thing is, before I bought it, I was chatting with a couple of people on Instagram, and some people said that they tried it before, but they had disease on the leaves. So the leaves get curly, which is a fungal disease. But I think this happens more in like warmer climate. And I think because we are so close to the sea here, there's always wind circulation, and I try to keep the canopy quite open. Fingers crossed I'm going to get around with that and I'm not going to have that fungal disease in the tree. But before anything happens, what I'm going to do now is quickly get in there and start planting it. I'm so excited about this. All right, just look at that. This is a container where the tree survived wintering in the garden center, which is not even a big container, so I think it will be really happy once it is in the soil. But what I want to show you and focus on for a second is this part of the tree here. So you can tell it's a little thicker here, and then it kind of changes growing direction here. So this is grafted, and this is something that happens to a lot of fruit trees. And what you do quintessentially is that in the garden center, they join 2 different plants together. So the root comes from one peach tree, and that is a variety that might not produce the nicest, juiciest fruit, but it has a very good root system and a strong root system. And then you cut that original tree off and just join another variety that you actually want to grow on top of it. And this is when you have this kind of funny section here, which is called the graft, literally. When you plant it, what I always tell you is always plant any kind of shrub and wood dead level, meaning that the soil level when it is in the ground is really level with how it is in the container. So the graft in theory should always be like about 2 inches above soil level, which is 5 centimeters. Kind of think it is here, and the reason for it is you do never want to bury your graft, because if this part here is under the soil, what happens is that the original plant, so the root system, they will also start sending out side branches and suckers, and they'll take away all of the energy, not all, but a lot of the energy from your tree that you actually want to grow. So always make sure whatever grafted tree you put in the ground, it is dead level and the graft is 2 inches above soil level. Final result, peach trees in the ground. I've watered it in, even though we're expecting more rain, but still, I think it's a good idea to just quickly water it in so it can really establish well. Can't wait for these tiny pink flower buds to finally open. How wonderful. I wish it would focus now so you could get to see them, maybe like that. Well, not really. But once they start flowering, I'm definitely going to post something on Instagram, at least in the stories, because I think they're going to be rather beautiful. There are two more things that still cross my mind that are quite important actually. The first one is that this peach tree is a self-pollinator. It means that you don't need to have a second peach somewhere around nearby in order to get pollination going. It can just do it on its own, so you save space, which is obviously beautiful. Second thing, and this really concerns the shape of a tree, and I didn't need to do anything because I bought it like this in the garden center. But quite often when you go to a nursery and you find fruit trees, you find trees that have like one leading stem and then they have a lot of spindly side branches. And what you want to do is you come in with your secateurs and you cut back those side branches to a length of maybe 10 to 15 centimeters, which is 4 to 6 inches. And you also cut back the leading stem at the height where you want your tree to start branching out sidewards. This happened quite short already. I personally would have wished it was a little higher, but it's all right. I don't want to have a massive tree anyway, so I'm happy with anything at this point. And the reason for why you do it is that you want to make sure that, especially in the first years, the tree can really focus on establishing a good root system. Because you do not want to have that the tree spends a lot of energy into these spindly side branches that are no good anyways. So this is why you do it. Another thing that you should do, I'm not going to do it, I'm just telling you this is according to textbook, but obviously have flowers, and at one point it's going to have fruit hopefully. And the first year especially, you want to get in there and pick the fruits before they ripe, because producing fruit takes a lot of energy for any kind of tree. And by picking the fruit, you also encourage it to build a stronger root system. But I'm so excited about this and I really want to harvest peaches. And if it is just one peach that I'm going to harvest, so I'm not going to pick the fruit before they're ripe. I'm definitely going to try and make sure that they ripen. But that's it about the peach tree. There's one more thing that I want to do with you down here by this slope, which I've prepared since we're here. It's a very quick last project. You know that in between our property, so the end of the slope and where the farmland starts, there is this little strip of no man's land. Nobody really takes care of it. Anything can grow however it wants to. And in a way, it's good for wildlife, obviously. But I think you can still encourage to bring more wildlife in. So what I bought are these 2 seed packs of natural wildflowers. And I think that this will be just beautiful. So what I will do quickly is find a nice area somewhere, loften up the soil, and then I'm going to sprinkle some seeds in there. Pretty much any area here would be good for it, but I think I'm just going to do it here because this is where I planted one of those hazels that I transplanted from the slope and some hydrangeas that were not thriving well in the garden. So I thought, you know what, I'll just give them a second chance down here and let's see what they do. So the soil already is quite lofty, so all I'm going to do is sprinkle some seeds and hopefully make wildlife happy here. I think this is one of the quickest and easiest thing that I've ever done in the garden. So all I do basically is just quickly come in here and loften up the soil again just a little bit. And then let's see how the seeds are looking. Would be better if there was no wind. Oh, it's a nice blend of different seeds. So all I do is take some of my hand and just sprinkle them here kind of evenly on the soil. Now comes Alfie, because she sees that I'm on the other side of the slope and this is the adventurous side. And then just come in again with my little rake it in, and I know that we're going to have rain, I think this afternoon still. So I know that this is going to be good and bound to work. So this is exactly what I'm going to do now quickly. Just finish off. There's quite a lot of seed in here. I'm really happy with that. There's going to be a beautiful wild meadow if this is going to work. So what I'm going to do is now work my way through here and just have like lovely drifts of wildflowers. Seeds are in the ground, the peach trees in the ground, and I couldn't be happier. It's such wonderful to see how this entire area at the back of the garden starts coming together. Also this area of no man's land, because so far it was just an area of weeds and just random stuff growing in there. And I think just by sprinkling this mix of wildflowers in there, it's going to be good for wildlife, obviously, but also good for me, because then I have something really nice to look at. I'm going to give you updates, obviously, later on in the year. What I'm going to do now is quickly pack up everything, because the weather forecast not only predicted rain, and I can tell you it is on its way, you can literally smell the rain is coming. It also predicted that there's going to be 2-3 hours of heavy wind again, and I can tell you this is already on its way as well. So what I'm going to do now is quickly pack up everything. I want to say thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to welcome you in my garden very soon again. Take care, guys. Bye.